I'd like to start out tonight by saying thank you to everybody that was involved in last Friday's fire. I think I speak for all the council members and all the people of this community when I say thank you. We're going to get a report in a few minutes from Chief Biddle, but it was just, it was amazing, the work that was done and the extraordinary work and the heroism of the people involved in fighting these fires. And I think as bad as it was for the businesses that were affected and the people that were affected, the fact that there was no loss of life is what's most important. But I think it also showed the good side of this community too, when people reached out to the Islamic community here and offered their churches, and you know, that's the good side of this community. And I just want to say a huge thank you to all our firemen and the firemen from neighboring communities that responded, all the people that were affected, the city's there to assist in any way, and I know the city's been working with those people. I just don't know where to go beyond just a huge thank you, so thank you. I do have a couple of proclamations to read, and then there's a couple of people that we promised that could go up front here, and then just an announcement. We are going to be moving 5.1 and 5.2 up after the public hearings because our insurance person is here and he has to catch a plane. So some of you are going to have to listen to our insurance discussion tonight. This proclamation is for Goltz Pharmacy. Goltz Pharmacy is going to be celebrating their 125th anniversary. And I'll read it. Whereas Goltz Pharmacy, established in 1888 by Max Goltz, is one of the oldest independent pharmacies in Minnesota. And whereas his sons Franklin and Newton Goltz continued the practice, passing it on to Franklin's sons Franklin and Neil Goltz, and is currently managed by the fourth generation, Dan and Paul Goltz. And whereas today, 125 years later, the pharmacy has grown to employ 19, utilizes the latest technology, and prides itself on friendly, professional service with the highest quality medicines and health products to continue to serve the Winona area. Now therefore I, Mayor Mark Peterson, do hereby honor Goltz Pharmacy in the city of Winona on its 125th anniversary, and we will be presenting this on their anniversary celebration on Saturday, October 5th, I believe at 11 a.m. So congratulations to them. That's a long time. I also have another proclamation declaring Constitution Week 2013. Whereas September 17th, 2013 marks the 226th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention, and whereas it is fitting and proper to officially recognize this magnificent document and the anniversary of its creation, and whereas it is fitting and proper to officially recognize the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate the occasion, excuse me, and whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America designating September 17 through 23 as Constitution Week. Now, therefore, I, Mark Peterson, Mayor of the City of Winona, do hereby proclaim September 17th through 23rd, 2013 to be Constitution Week in Winona, Minnesota, and ask our citizens to reaffirm the ideals the framers of the Constitution had in 1787. And at this time, I'd like to ask Phil Fighton and Harlan Knight to step to the podium. They have some important news they would like to share.
Thank you, Mayor Peterson and members of the council. We're here to share some history and also some celebration about the Winona Fountain in Wyndham Park.
Thanks, Bill. Having spent 6 years on your side of the table, I want to express my appreciation for each one of you and the time you spend on that side of the table. It's a rewarding job, and I appreciated my 6 years here. About 111 years ago, back in 1902, The original Princess Winona Fountain was constructed and dedicated in Central Park. This fountain was a gift to the city from Mr. Landon in memory of his wife, Ida Cohen Landon. 60 years later, in 1962, the federal government took over 3/4 of Central Park to build a new post office, and maybe it's time for another new one, though sometimes. Princess Winona was moved to Lake Park and then later to a small fountain at 3rd and Center in downtown Winona. In 1993, 20 years ago, 3rd Street was open to traffic again, and the city council approved construction of a new permanent fountain to be built in Wyndham Park, provided sufficient funds could be raised privately, and we did it.
Harlan and Phil headed up the committee, and in 75 days, we had raised in excess of $100,000, all from the citizens and businesses of Winona. Construction of the new fountain began that summer of 1993. Only Winona contractors were used. Waukesha Construction did the major work, along with American Plumbing, Bauer Electric, Winona Nursery, Modern Concrete, Winona Monument Company, Winona Rental, Bison Stone Company, Winona Lighting, all 3 Winona architects, Jim Carlson, Sherm Smith, and Owen Warnicki, the Winona Daily News, the Winona Post, and the Winona Radio all helped with good publicity to make the fundraising successful. Over 1,000 people of this community and businesses had contributed money and time and work to accomplish this project. In September of 1993, 20 years ago, Reverend John Velazny, then the Bishop of Winona, blessed and dedicated the new fountain in Wyndham Park, with over 650 people present. The keys of the new fountain were then officially turned over to the city of Winona. In celebration of the 20th anniversary, next Saturday, September 21st, Harlan and I will be at the fountain in Wyndham Park from 10:30 in the morning till 1:30 p.m. We'll have treats, hot chocolate, and souvenir pictures for all who come. To you, the council, to the members in the chamber, and to the citizens of Winona, we invite you to come down and help us celebrate this good news. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for all you did to make that happen. We're assuming these are 1902 prices you're going to be charging?
If we don't give them away, we'll charge.
Okay, thank you. And now the Fine Arts Commission has some awards they'd like to present. We'll do that at this time.
Thank you, Mayor Peterson and the members of City Council and everyone else who's here. Each year, the Winona Fine Arts Commission presents awards to individuals and businesses in the community that we think are making a significant impact on making Winona an artistic community. And it's incredibly difficult to decide who the people are that we're going to recognize, because we typically end up with a list of about 25 to 30 to 40 people on the list that we choose from. But each year, for the past few years, we have given out 3 awards, and we have 3 award winners this year. But before that, I would like to publicly recognize the other members of the Winona Fine Arts Commission for their hard work, because several of those people are here tonight. The other members of the commission include Greg Neidhart, Jim Troughton, John Swanson, Patrick Grace, Lyon Smith, Ann Plummer, Claire Richards, and Sam Brown. And our first award winner this year is Ed Hoffman. We are pleased to recognize Ed Hoffman with the 2013 Fine Arts Commission Award. Ed is a Winona native who attended Winona State University and then moved to Seattle. However, in 2007, he seized the opportunity to buy an old bar on 3rd and Franklin Street here in Winona and made it his own no-name establishment featuring art, music, craft beer, and wine. The diverse clientele at his bar enjoy a variety of local, regional, and national bands and musicians with local art, including his own paintings on display. His time, energy, and generosity have provided our community with a great venue for visual arts and music. Additionally, Ed is part owner of the Boathouse Bistro that offers fresh and regional food along with musical events on the levee. It takes one person to make a difference in a community, and Ed's tireless efforts have made Winona a much better place to live. Ed? Congratulations, you're welcome. You wanna say something? The Winona Fine Arts Commission is presenting an award to Gabby Peterson for her innovation and success with yarnology. Gabby opened yarnology with Kelly Momsen in November of 2010, and it has since become a staple in the downtown community. Gabby and Kelly opened the store because they saw a need for it in Winona. They believed that while it was good for the fiber community in Winona, La Crosse, Rochester, and Wabasha, it also brought a creative piece to the energy of downtown. The store has had progressed enough that in 2012, Yarnology found a new, larger home on 3rd Street. Gabby recognizes that her client base often doesn't come to Winona specifically to see Yarnology, but she has found that Yarnology meets a larger contingency of people who live outside of Winona. Gabby also sits on the Winona Area Public Schools Foundation Board, the Visit Winona Board, and the Main Street Initiative Board. Yarnology is inspiring our community by introducing Winona to the traditional and innovative ways to incorporate knitting and crocheting into our lives. Gabby? And last but not least, the Winona Fine Arts Commission has chosen to award the Boats and Bluegrass Music Festival for connecting a national audience to music, arts, and Winona's natural beauty. Boats and Bluegrass has always been about 3 things: providing a family-friendly event, high-quality entertainment, and to tie it all to the Mississippi River. Over 9 years, Boats and Bluegrass has hosted nearly 10,000 attendees and 1,000 artists, using a minimal amount of city resources and making a huge impact on Winona's image as an arts-friendly community. Tom and Julie Fassbender.
Thank you very much. All very worthy recipients. Now I'd like to ask Chief Biddle to come up and maybe provide an update on the recent fire.
Mayor and Council, this was a pretty well publicized fire. I guess I just opted to come here to answer any questions or any, inquiries as far as what we're going to do in the future, as far as the investigation and so forth. So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I think the one question everybody's wondering the most about is, where did it start and do you have a cause?
Yeah.
Any updates on that?
The on-duty crews probably, I'm assuming, arrived about 3.5 minutes after the initial alarm came in, dispatch from the LEC. The fire itself, in my estimation, was in the Islamic Center at the north end of the building. Our fire crews made entry into that building. The roof had collapsed, partially collapsed, prior to us actually getting on scene. And they were forced out of that entryway and began evacuation procedures on the 2 buildings. So
No
No idea of cause yet.
No. And just to update everybody on the cause, we have a number of agencies involved in this fire, the ATF, FBI, State Fire Marshal's Office, and the Winona Fire Department. The first day that we could actually get all these entities together to make a concerted effort with everybody together is next week, Wednesday. So what we're planning on doing is actually boarding up. We're gonna move the chain link fences that are currently around the building and secure it with plywood, just to secure the scene. And we'll get the ATF, FBI, and Fire Marshal's Office and our department involved next week, Wednesday. So that is our ultimate goal right now. And we had the ATF in there Saturday digging around a bit. It was a little disorganized because we had so many different entities involved in this. We made numerous phone calls this morning, and Wednesday was the first day that we could get everybody together. So that's what we're shooting for, so, yes.
Chief, is it standard to have these organizations do this, or
No.
why are they involved? Because of
Not-
place of worship, or?
Yes, and bottom line, that's what it is.
George?
George?
Chief, are there firewalls between all those buildings? I know the concern was, spreading further and further.
Yeah. And you look at our downtown area, 1872, 1875. These are firewalls that were literally built from brick and mortar 130 plus years ago. What we found with the first building east of our actual fire origin building was, it's just 130 years old. Brick and mortar will hold up for a little bit, but you can't sit on it for a day. You can't sit on it for 6 hours. So it has its place for a little bit, but being that it was so old, there was some concrete concerns that we were going to lose everything to the east of that building. The fire crews truly did a spectacular job digging their heels in on the 62 East 3rd building. We kind of made our stand at that building. We pulled walls, or pulled sheetrock from walls, got hose lines up there. We were putting fires out along actually both the 62 East 3rd and the building on the corner of Jeff Murphy's rental unit. The guys did a bang-up job. We'd have, I hate to brag, but we would have some awfully big cities pretty envious of what we did, in my estimation. We had 5 guys respond. First alarms in big cities, they get 40 on the first alarm, and then they have another 40 coming. So I'm extremely proud of what we did. The guys did a great job, so.
Yeah?
I think, everybody is, and the mayor said, is very thankful for the work you've done. Post-event, besides the investigation going on, do you normally then review procedures and how things went, and perhaps what went right and what perhaps needs improvement?
Yep, every fire the Winona Fire Department has, we'll critique and go through with all 3 shifts. George is aware of that. And we'll go through with our part-time people also. One thing, that's strikingly alarming on this is when the finances look better in the future, we may really want to look as a city to hire a fire inspector again. We've been without that position since 2009, but I think as a city we may want to review that in the future. It's an arbitrary thing to say would have made a difference, but that is one position in the fire department that we are lacking.
Thank you.
This was all covered, this was in the budget, right?
Okay, yeah, and kinda. This was an expensive fire, and went through and, you know, it roughly, between mutual aid, my overtime, and I factored in the street department. The street department played a major part in this. The water department played a major part in this. But we're probably looking somewhere around the $22,000, $23,000, $24,000 range as far as what this fire actually cost the city. And I do have to thank Winona PD. They played a major part in evacuating everybody from those buildings. Street department, we couldn't have done it without them. Water department, the infrastructure of the city of Winona worked perfectly. We were at one time probably flowing 9,000, 10,000 gallons a minute. So it's pretty impressive. So
So the coordination of everything from the street department, the fire department, the police
city
department.
entities
Really showing.
was fabulous. We, as you all are aware, we went to 800 megahertz radios not too horribly long ago. The coordination with our mutual aid departments. Any major incident for the past 20 years, the first thing you start yelling about is communications. It was a seamless deal when these departments came in and everybody knew what radio channel to be on. I can't speak highly enough to tell you how wonderful that worked. And that was a product of 9/11, the 800 megahertz. The state of Minnesota did a wonderful job. It really was a seamless transition when we had other entities coming into the city. So.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Great
All your
job.
men. I have just one final thing. I'd like to say a thank you to everybody that was involved in the Dakota Gathering last weekend, all the help the city provided, just the committee and everybody. I spent some time over there, and it was a very nice event, and again, proud of the city for doing it. And that's all I have, city manager.
I too want to thank all of the city employees and all the departments who worked very hard on that fire. I think it's great on how everyone can work together. We too will get together as a city departments to see what we can do better, how we can coordinate easier, quicker next time, if it ever happens again, and hopefully that won't be the case. But more importantly, we've already sent out letters through the Community Development Office to the property owners. We know there's a lot of work yet to be done. The fire may have ended, but we now have vacancies in downtown Winona. And we continue to plan to work with those businesses, the property owners, to see what we can do for them to rebuild, relocate, whatever it takes, and make that a main point in downtown Winona again. So we will continue to work on this project. Thank you.
Thank you. Roll call.
Mayor Peterson.
Here.
Councilman Thurley.
Here.
Craig.
Here.
Alexander. Here. Iden. Here. Borzakowski.
Here.
Double.
Here.
Under the required public hearings, item 2.1 is the public hearing to consider the resolution to levy assessments for unpaid charges. Wait, Mark,
Okay. I'll declare the public hearing open and ask if anybody here wishes to speak, to step forward to the podium, state your name and address.
Good evening. My name is Brian Paulzine. My address is 303 East 2nd Street.
Okay.
I'm here this evening. Back on March 14th, we had a snowstorm. This was one of the last snowstorms before our May incidents, and I guess my wife and I were out of town to be visiting her grandfather in southwestern Nebraska. He was in the hospital, and so we took off as quickly as we could for that. While we were gone, the snowstorm hit. The sidewalks were full, and I am on a corner lot there. I did receive a note on the door when I got home 5 days later. that my sidewalks were full and removal was going to take place. I guess I am requesting some type of reduction or forgiveness for this bill. It's $425 to remove the snow for one incident. Like I said, I realize it's a large corner lot, but at the rate of $1.50 per linear foot on a 230-foot sidewalk, I haven't had any. I did call around to other removal companies and ask what they would charge to remove the snow on a corner lot. They said none of them gave me a quote of over $100. I just feel that I owe something for the fact that the work was done, but that's my appeal.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? Michelle?
Steve, can you explain how the costs are assessed, please?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
How the costs are assessed, how we come to that cost?
We have an agreement with the contractor. We use, he does it on a lineal footage basis and then charges us extra for salt. A lot of times when they salt, they have to go back the next day or later that day depending and clean them again. So, and in this instance, I don't know if he actually went back the second day and cleaned or not.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else wish to speak?
My name is Phil Klemp, 1022 Wabasha West. You actually, I believe, probably have a letter in front of you. I didn't think I was going to be able to attend tonight's meeting, so that explains the situation. We're dealing with Fannie Mae, and our understanding was that that was completely taken care of before closing. In fact, the title company said that they wouldn't close until all assessments were cleared. And so we were very surprised when we received the letter saying they hadn't been taken care of. So we are in contact with the real estate agent and trying to get this cleared up as quickly as possible. So I guess we're just asking for a little more time.
Mayor and council and gentlemen, Key Realty paid these assessments late this afternoon. I believe.
Super.
Yeah.
Good job.
Congratulations.
Oh, it's been a long one.
Anybody else wish to speak? Is there anybody else here that wishes to speak? Final opportunity. Anybody else wish to speak? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. Anybody, anything they'd like to say? Mr. Hood?
Mayor and council, Mary Burrichter asked me just to give a quick overview for those members of the council who are new and maybe not be quite as familiar with this process. The council does have statutory charter and code authority to impose assessments for unpaid charges. The unpaid charges go through this process, and the staff is obviously asking you to adopt a resolution to certify that role to the county auditor for collection with property taxes. So in a nutshell, that's what we're doing for new members.
Okay,
I
thank you.
would make that motion.
Motion by Michelle,
Second.
seconded by Paul. Any further discussion? Al?
Mayor, I'd like to make an amendment to the motion
Okay.
that we reduce the charge for the gentleman that had concerns about his snow removal. I believe it was around $400, that we reduce that to $200.
Motion to amend, is there a second? I guess not.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 2.2 is a public hearing to levy special assessments for the removal of a structure at 868 East Fifth Street.
Declare the public hearing open. Anybody here wish to speak? Anybody here to speak? I'll ask one more time. Anybody else here wish to speak?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we had a garage at this address that was collapsing. We sent a letter to the owners to remove it. We got a call from them, said they'd be more than happy to remove it, but they couldn't afford to because of financial circumstances due to a loss of job and that. So normally we would bring it to council for hazardous building orders, and then we'd go to court for enforcement, which ends up adding probably $1,000 to the cost of the garage removal due to court costs and everything else. The state statute does allow us to get a consent order from the owner and the financial institution if there's a mortgage on the property to actually do the work without going to the court. And we did get that, and we agreed to assess it over a 3-year period, which the statute allows us up to 5 years. So we made that agreement, they signed it, and we took the garage down. So.
Okay. Thank you.
I'd move to adopt the attached resolution to levy the assessment.
Second.
Motion by Michelle, seconded by Jerry. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Under the new business, we'll move ahead to item 5.1, which is the 2014 City Health Insurance Committee recommendations on health plan designs and rates, and the city manager's recommendations.
Mayor and Council, this is our annual renewal for our city health insurance, our recommendation for 2014. We have with us this evening a representative from the firm of Mercer that will review the health insurance recommendation with us. It'll be just a summary because we've already spent about 45 minutes in more detail about the recommendation. And then I believe the city manager will also have a recommendation. So I would like to introduce Mr. Joe Harton.
Thank you, Mary. Mayor and Council, as we discussed in the work session earlier this evening, we've concluded the annual process through the Insurance Committee of both meeting and considering different plan designs, reviewing the claims experience, and looking at other sorts of tasks regarding the medical insurance for the city and its employees for this year. And through that Insurance Committee recommendation, we're recommending that the city continue to offer its same 3 plans, yellow, green, and red, with a baseline cost increase for 2014 of 7.9%, and continuing on with Blue Cross Blue Shield as the administrator and allowing employees to choose the options as they have in the past. As we discussed in our work session, after 3 years of cost holds or actually cost reductions, we actually have turned around a little bit this year and are trending more along the lines of national trends, which is where the 7.9% increase recommendation comes from.
Okay, thank you.
I would make a motion to approve the City Health Insurance Committee's recommendations for 2014.
Second. Motion by Michelle, seconded by Paul. Any further discussion? Hearing none. we'll
Just
vote. Yeah.
a clarification, does this include the recommendations by the city manager?
No, that's the second motion.
That's the second motion? Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
You have in front of you with the city manager's recommendation for the health insurance premium, and that is to use reserves from the health insurance fund based upon those that were collected the last 3 years, when we had 3 good years, to reduce the premium from the 7.9% to a 4% increase, and then to use approximately $35,000 to increase the city's contribution for the plans from $435 for single coverage to $444 per month, and from $1,138 to $1,163 per month for family. So essentially, it was approximately half funded by the employees and half funded by the city.
I would move to approve those city manager recommendations for
I would second that.
2014 costs.
Motion by Al, seconded by Pam. Discussion?
Just a comment, Mayor, just to thank the city's health insurance committee and Mr. Hartman and his company for their work. This may seem on the surface to be simple, but it's not. And they've all done a wonderful job in gathering the information, making good recommendations so we can make a good decision tonight.
I agree. Any other comments? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
And item 5.2 is the 2014 rates for employee life insurance, long-term disability insurance, flexible spending and health reimbursement account administration.
Move to approve, to accept those?
Second.
Motion by George, seconded by Paul. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
And we will go back to the petitions, requests, and communications. Item 3.1 is a request for a handicap stall on 2nd Street in front of the Blue Heron Coffee House.
I'd move to consider the introduction of the attached ordinance.
I would second that.
Motion by Michelle, seconded by Pam. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.2 is a request for a temporary on-sale wine and beer license for the Cathedral of Sacred Heart Church on Saturday, October 26th.
I'd move to approve that request.
Second.
Motion by Michelle, seconded by George. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.3, reappointment to the Winona Housing and Redevelopment Authority of Rachel J. Smith.
Move to approve that appointment.
Second.
Motion by George, seconded by Michelle. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.4, reappointments to the Architectural Review Board of Steve Briggs, Brian Bulow, and Bill Wachorick.
I'd move to approve the request to reappoint those three.
I would second that.
Motion by Michelle, seconded by Pam. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.5, appointments to the Cable Television Commission of Steve Profile and Dave Polk.
Move to confirm those appointments.
Second.
Motion by Al, seconded by Jerry. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Reappointments to the Citizens Environmental Quality Committee of Chris Meyer and John Nosek.
I would move to accept these appointments, approve these appointments.
Motion by Pam,
Second.
seconded by George. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.7 is a request by Winona State University to modify their parking request for Friday, September 20th to include both sides of Gould Street.
I'd move to modify that request as Nate.
Second.
Motion by Al, seconded by Michelle. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.8 is the homecoming parade request by Winona State University for Saturday, October 19th.
I'd move to approve that request.
Second. Motion by Michelle, seconded by Paul. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.9 is the Winona Senior High School homecoming parade street closure request for this Friday, September 20th, to go from Winona Senior High to Paul Giel Field.
Move to approve that request.
Second.
Motion by Michelle, seconded by Al. Discussion?
Just a comment, Mayor. Again, I think as we all have concerns about that when they do have this event, and as they've done in the past with the football games, that residents along Lee Street be at least given some access to their property during the course of the homecoming as well as the regular games.
Noted.
They've done a good job in the past, and I'm just concluding that.
Any other discussion or comments? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.10 is a request to hold the 5K run walk by Women in Business on Saturday, February 1st.
Move to approve that request.
Motion by George, seconded by Paul. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.11 is a request to close Parks Avenue for the Making Strides Against Breast Cancer event on Saturday, October 12th.
Move to approve that request.
And I would second that.
Motion by Michelle, seconded by Pam. Any discussion, comments? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.12 is a request to hold the Live at the Levee event on Saturday, October 5th. The Midwest Music Fest will be the sponsor, and you have a draft license agreement before you. And Chad Ubel is here if you have questions, as are other members of that committee.
Move to approve the attached resolution.
Motion by Jerry,
Second.
seconded by George. I know there are members here. Would anybody wish to step to the podium and say anything? State your name and address.
I'm Jamie Shell, 1027 East 7th Street. Live at the Levee is basically, we just want to do a community festival that brings attention to the Levee Park, the downtown, just trying to create some momentum in that direction and hopefully stimulate business and all kinds of things happening downtown. So we see this as a springboard event. The reason we want to get one in this year, so we have the winter to work on some things to do for next summer to continue upon this theme of hopefully bringing some more action to the downtown area. So that's our plan.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Any further discussion or questions, comments? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries. You have your event.
Under unfinished business, item 4.1 is to award the contract for the Winona Public Library storm sewer and parking lot project. The low bidder was TJ's Trucking and Excavating with a bid of $38,588.30. The engineer's estimate was $43,272.50.
I'll move accepted. Motion by Paul,
Second.
seconded by Michelle.
I assume that's to TJ's Trucking. You want to, right, you pick, okay. Just confirm that.
The low bidder.
Yep.
Get the resolution.
Oh, wasn't sure.
Yes. Any, George?
Yeah, and just like to add that this is a Winona company, and I was very glad to hear Mr. Fighton and Knight talk about when that project was done. It was all Winona contractors, so it's good to see it on this project as well. So that way, when we got a complaint, we can find them.
Or thank them for a job well done.
Yeah,
Right,
let's hope we
right,
get to
that's
thank
right,
them.
that's right.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
In new business, item 5.3 is a request for a public hearing regarding liquor licenses issued to Broken World Records. That hearing would be set on October 7th.
Move to approve the
Second.
hearing date.
Motion by George, seconded by Jerry. Any discussion? Questions? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 7.1 is council concerns.
And tonight we'll start to my right with George.
Okay, thank you. If everybody can kind of help me on this matter here, I think we all probably kind of go through it in our wards, but I had a parent discuss with me this morning about the school crossings, the school crossing guards, and I'm more or less doing this for a public safety announcement, and even if the press could take, a little bit from this and maybe even get a chance to go down sometime and visit with these school crossing guards to find out what they go through, especially during the busy times of day, is that what appears to be happening in this particular intersection I'm talking about is Broadway and Mankato. She was taking her youngster to school, and the crossing guard is out there, and every now and then cars will come to a rolling stop, maybe not stop completely. They will go before the stop arm is down. My understanding is there's even been times when a couple of drivers, got quite angry at things because they had to wait, and then, do things with their fingers and everything else, which is totally very immature. But just, for the public, that we need to stop for the crossing guards, whether it's on Mankato or up on Grand Street or Sioux Street, wherever it may be, because then it was brought up, well, can the crossing guard get the license plate of the car or a picture of the car? Probably not, because their job is trying to get the youngsters across the street and watching out so they don't get hit by the car that may perhaps have run it. So, please stop for the crossing guards. It is a legal stop sign, and, if we could pull their driver's license, Mr. Attorney, for 5 years, would that help?
They should definitely report incidents to the PD.
So, and like I say, and for the media, if you could go down and just visit with these crossing guards and kind of, that would help bring public awareness to it. So thank you on that matter there, and I think we can pretty much get that under control. And then on the brighter side, I'd just simply like to wish a happy retirement to Mary Jo Laren, who retired from Peerless Chain Company after 20 years of service, working in the Human Resources Department. When I started down there, it was Personnel Department, but now it's Human Resources, and she did a very, very good job for 20 years. Very nice lady for those that know her, always willing to help not only her family, her co-workers, and other members of her community as well, too. So wish her and her family well and many happy years of retirement. Thank you.
Thank you. Pam? Paul?
Yes.
Michelle? Jerry?
It's already been said, but just very proud of all the city employees that did such a great job working together on a really tough couple of days.
And the same, I'd echo those comments. It's kind of ironic too, because that block, according to my history research, was where the Great Fire of 1862 started. Back when they destroyed 110 of the wooden buildings that were built in the downtown at the time, and then consequently or subsequently rebuilt with the brick that we have today.
Thank you.
Under the consent agenda, we have 5 items. Approval of the minutes from September 3rd, the final adoption of the ordinance to set the fees for 2014, a claim against the City of Winona by Charlene Bell, a claim against the City of Winona by Brandon Shemesky, and a claim against the city by the Farish Law Office on behalf of Cornelius Benner.
I'd move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Michelle, seconded by Jerry. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Aye.
same sign.
Mayor, I move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. We're adjourned.
4 minutes.